The story begins with the narrator reflecting on a childhood friend they've never met, Tuka Natsunagi. Despite not knowing her face, they feel a deep connection, sensing familiarity and warmth in just the idea of her presence. Growing up, the narrator's parents favored fiction over reality, choosing to give their child memories artificially created to simulate a perfect childhood. They would sometimes invent scenarios and then disappear, relying on new relationships for happiness, resulting in a life devoid of genuine affection for their child. As the narrator reaches 15, their parents divorce, and custody issues arise. Ultimately, the narrator chooses to use lethe, a form of memory erasure, to remove the false memories and seek an emptiness that they hope would eliminate the emptiness they feel within. The narrator works hard and saves money to undergo the lethe treatment. Lethe is designed to erase specific memories linked with emotions and relationships, sparing declarative and semantic memory. Before going through with it, they receive a package with the wrong nanobots, not lethe, but green, a product meant to implant new and pleasing childhood memories. Despite initial fear, the narrator decides to keep it. Over time, the green memories had created an idealized version of Tuka Natsunagi as a childhood friend, fueling a longing for a past that never existed. Though the narrator seems to enjoy these fabricated memories, they can't help but feel discontent knowing the most beautiful parts of their history are fake. On a day consumed by heat and alcohol, the narrator visits a shrine, hoping to find some solace. A voice interrupts their thoughts, proposing a kiss. It's Tuka, displaying a memory-induced familiarity that feels odd to both. They have a history filled with awkward teenage flirtations and experimentations, despite knowing these are imprinted memories. Despite hints of attraction, the narrator and Tuka have never formalized their relationship, choosing to stay friends. When Tuka hints at romance, the narrator agrees to test their feelings with a kiss. The experiment, intended to catch a glimpse of deeper emotions, leaves them both uncertain. No heart-pounding moments emerge. In the end, their encounter remains platonic. Tuka captures a farewell picture, encapsulating the ambiguous closeness they share. As they part, the narrator ponders what might have been, bound by the memories but unable to transform fantasy into reality. The narrator's journey continues, tangled in a web of love, memory, and longing for genuine connection amidst artificial intimacy. Tuka and Chihiro share a playful reminiscence about their past. Tuka tries to trigger Chihiro's memory of their first kiss, but Chihiro feigns ignorance. They banter about their childhood, with Tuka teasingly admitting, "You're just forgetful, Tuka." Chihiro reflects on the power of memories and how fleeting some can be, especially since he's starting to lose track of them. He ponders the clinical aspects of memory loss and how those afflicted may retain memories that echo their past but don't truly belong to them. In a similar vein, Chihiro prepares to let go of the memories of Tuka Natsunagi by using lethe. Attending a festival, Chihiro finds himself overwhelmed as memories invade his mind. The sound of fireworks and the laughter of the crowd make him reminisce more. Suddenly, he spots a girl wearing a striking firework-patterned yukata. Their eyes meet, and it's as if time stops. Chihiro senses an urgency to speak to her, intuitively knowing they share the same memories. But the moment is fleeting, and the crowd pushes him away, leaving him with a sense of longing and missed connection. Chihiro introduces a friend he met long ago, Emori. They lived in the same building and bonded over their shared sense of emptiness and solitude. Emori becomes a confidant of sorts, often visiting Chihiro with a bag of beers, and the two find solace in their quiet camaraderie. They spend time at the local children's park, a derelict space that turns into their haven under the night sky. As they drink, Emori shares a story about an acquaintance named Okano who fell for a dating scam involving a girl named Ikeda. They discuss the idea of implanted memories and how memories can be easily reshaped or tricked, likening it to altering one's memories subconsciously. Emori reflects, memories don't work their way into memories. They work their way into the absence of them. Later, Chihiro finds himself lost in thoughts of Tuka. He recalls their conversation about the poignant lyrics of Firefly's Light, a tune they both associate with heartbreak. Tuka playfully asserts, "When you say goodbye to a man, teach him the real lyrics. Flowers bloom every year without fail." This thought lingers in Chihiro's mind as he grapples with the decision to erase his memories of her. Before erasing these memories, Chihiro prepares by gathering courage through mundane tasks. He acknowledges that once he takes the lethe, he won't feel pain, but a deep sense of loss follows as he cleans to distract himself. The physical echo of Tuka's presence in his mind makes it a difficult decision. On another day, Chihiro spots someone he believes is Tuka on a bus. Despite her familiar presence, he hesitates, knowing he must confront the possibility that she, too, is just a memory, a fragment of a past that might not truly belong to him. The conundrum of choice weighs heavily as he holds the lethe, ready for the next step of letting go. Chihiro's struggle to reconcile with his memories and his longing for genuine connections weave a complex narrative, threading together the human experience of remembering, forgetting, and moving forward. Recently, Chihiro reflects on his changing relationship with Tuka. He realizes he's grown taller than her, noticing how her thin legs and slim back make him feel the need to protect her. This brings a new awareness of their bond, and the direction of their relationship seems to shift subtly. Chihiro recalls an incident the day before when Tuka collapsed. Normally, she would bring her homework to his room, but she didn't show up. Concerned, he found her on the floor, having suffered another asthma attack, which had come on alarmingly fast. Afterward, at the hospital, she appears cheerful, although Chihiro could see she was still weak. He questions if she was overexerting herself, aware of how she sometimes pushes beyond her limits. Tuka playfully acknowledges Chihiro's concerns. Chihiro expresses gratitude, and though the conversation veers into teasing, there's a shared understanding. Chihiro reflects on how accustomed he is to her attacks, stating, "It's because I'm used to you having attacks, Tuka." Their banter helps ease the tense aftermath of the incident, and they promise to look after each other. Later, Chihiro walks outside, feeling the rain as he thinks about his day. He catches a bus, observing the people around him, including a girl in a blue yukata. Memories from his past running experience flood back, tied to Tuka. The nostalgia is interrupted when she approaches him, playfully teasing again about his memories and their shared experiences. Feelings of confusion arise when Chihiro sees a girl resembling Tuka in the bus. In a rush of emotion, he runs towards her, only to find it wasn't Tuka at all. Embarrassed, he apologizes and steps off the bus, reflecting on his actions. There's an emotional turmoil as he grapples with memories and reality, attempting to reconcile past and present. Through music and memories, Chihiro tries to reconnect with his feelings. Despite the longing and fleeting moments where reality and memory blur, the connection with Tuka feels piercingly real. He hums a tune tied to these memories, acknowledging the intangible bond. In a narrative twist, Chihiro admits struggling with the concept of existing solely in someone's memory. The layers of longing, identity, and reality weave through this, reflecting a broader meditation on what it means to carry such memories when physical connections seem ephemeral. Finally, back at his apartment, Chihiro senses the presence of someone familiar. An unspoken recognition occurs when he and Tuka stand facing each other, rekindling their unbroken childhood connection. The summer magic they share suggests a deeper bond that transcends the limits of physical presence. This introspection gives way to a philosophical exploration of memories, artificially implanted memories. The narrative delves into the ethical and emotional implications of such technology, questioning the essence of memory and identity, and pondering what it means to exist through memories. The overlapping of personal reminiscence with future possibilities highlights a poignant tension between memory and reality. Chihiro, burdened by the chaos in his mind, struggles to grasp the fragments of memory left by a condition known as new Alzheimer's. This affliction attacks personal memories, leaving Chihiro in a constant state of confusion and detachment from his past. He recalls moments like their elusive dreams, vivid yet always slipping away. One morning, he wakes up with a pounding headache, aware that his consumption of alcohol might be the culprit. As reality slowly trickles back into focus, he remembers being forcibly evicted from his place. Now, standing outside in a daze, he hears his name called by Tuka Natsunagi, a woman claiming to be from his past. Her presence is both a comfort and a confusion. "Chihiro, is it possible you're drunk?" Tuka asks gently. Her concern is evident, but Chihiro can barely stand, let alone respond meaningfully. Desperately trying to make sense of the situation, he stumbles through half-formed thoughts and fragmented memories of a life he can't fully remember. In a bid to pull himself together, Chihiro resolves to eat and hydrate. He drags himself to the kitchen, hoping to find something to fill the void. Alas, it's barren, much like his fading memories. He finds only meager scraps reminiscent of forgotten pasts. Chihiro recalls working at a video rental store, an unremarkable job that suits him, requiring minimal human interaction. For someone avoiding remembrance, it provides a simple distraction from the complexities of human relationships. Yet, even in his monotonous work life, memories of Tuka linger like whispers in his thoughts, a haunting reminder of what he might have lost. Later, Chihiro contemplates the theory surrounding people like Tuka. Emori, a friend, suggests that individuals like her, substitutes, might be manifestations of the desires stored in people's latent memories. With this in mind, he decides to confront Tuka, driven by a sense of need to uncover the truth. Chihiro visits the supermarket, opting cautiously to buy only the essentials. He is desperate to avoid the reminder of tastes he no longer enjoys since his affliction. Each meal is merely a necessity, devoid of pleasure or experience. Finally, he arrives at Tuka's apartment, puzzled by the ease with which memories of her surface in his mind. With a mix of anticipation and fear, he knocks on the door. But as he does, he begins to suspect a setup, a concoction crafted from the abyss of his forgotten past. The door swings open, yet no one answers at first. Once inside, Chihiro finds himself face to face with Tuka. She's in the kitchen, cooking. Her presence, although expected, feels surreal. "Welcome home, Chihiro," she greets him warmly. Despite the oddity of it all, he is entranced by her easy demeanor. Yet, beneath her friendly smile lies uncertainty. Chihiro questions her directly about her identity and intentions, wrestling with the possibility that she might be a product of his whimsical dreams, or perhaps something crafted by a scammer targeting his vulnerabilities. Tuka maintains her calm, responding with a mixture of sincerity and teasing familiarity. Her answers, though, lack the certainty Chihiro craves. He grasps onto whatever reality he can salvage, clinging to the edges of his reeling world. As Emori enters the scene, offering insight and presence, Chihiro starts piecing together the disarray of his life. Emori's first-hand encounter with a scam involving memories sharpens Chihiro's resolve to address what Tuka might truly be. "Do you think she's cute?" Emori asks with a smirk, stirring a reluctant chuckle from Chihiro. Despite the nerves tugging at his consciousness, there's a comfort in their banter, a familiarity amid the unknown. With all the chaos swirling around him, Chihiro knows he must face the storm head-on. Whether Tuka is real or a figment tailored to his deepest longings, only confronting her will reveal what lies at the heart of this tangled web of forgotten realities and elusive dreams. Amagai stands in disbelief as Emori suggests that his experiences might be related to an intricate scam centered around memories. Emori ponders if Amagai, having never taken Lethe, could be the perfect target. Amagai dismisses this idea, believing he'd remember someone as significant as his supposed childhood friend, Tuka Natsunagi. After leaving the tense conversation, Amagai reflects on the possibility Emori raised. Although the theory feels unsettling, Amagai is determined to explore it further. Back at his apartment, he prepares himself mentally for what lies ahead, particularly any encounter with the enigmatic Tuka. Soon enough, she arrives, catching him off guard. Tuka's presence reignites the confusion within Amagai. As she enters, there's a tension between them, a mixture of familiarity and strangeness. She insists, "You don't have to push yourself to remember." Her words puzzle Amagai, amplifying his curiosity and suspicion. Despite his eagerness to uncover the truth, he remains wary of Tuka's intentions. In an attempt to gain clarity, Amagai probes Tuka for more information. She claims not to have had her memories through her own choice. Her recollection of events seems to vary, deepening the mystery. Amagai, trying to maintain composure, questions whether the memories he cannot recall are fabricated or long-buried truths. As their interaction progresses, it becomes clearer to Amagai that there's a strategic undertone to Tuka's words. Just like a skilled scammer, she appears to know when to advance and when to retreat, evoking both intrigue and mistrust in him. Despite his reservations, he acknowledges the persuasive sincerity in her demeanor, causing him to question the extent of his forgotten past. Reflecting on his life and surroundings, Amagai grapples with an uneasy nostalgia. His memories of his childhood places seem disjointed, making him question the supposed ease and happiness of those years. The societal expectations and the homogeneous nature of his upbringing contribute to this malaise, pushing him further into introspection. Emori's earlier remarks echo in his mind, prompting him to revisit places from his past. As he explores his old room, he finds little that connects him to the childhood he supposedly shared with Tuka. This only fuels his determination to uncover the truth, even as his father's dismissive attitude about memory manipulation adds to his frustration. A revealing moment occurs when he discovers a letter claiming to be from his old classmate Tuka. It urges him to revisit the memories he'd buried, yet provides no concrete answers. The note suggests a sentimental bond, but offers no immediate clarity. In a bid to seek more information, Amagai attempts to contact a supposed clinic linked to his memory issues, only to find it has been shut down. The increasing ambiguity only serves to deepen his resolve and his sense of isolation. As Amagai returns to his current reality, Tuka's presence looms large. He continues to wrestle with the concept of whether their relationship is genuine or a fabrication. Her insistence of their connection and his father's denial of ever knowing Tuka puzzle him, leaving Amagai stranded between two conflicting realities. In this delicate dance between past and present, reality and memories, Amagai stands at a crossroads. The quest for truth about his connection with the mysterious Tuka and the memories he may or may not have lost becomes a personal journey of self-discovery and acceptance. Chihiro finds himself face to face with Tuka Natsunagi, grappling with a mix of emotions and memories that feel both familiar and foreign. There's a palpable tension in the air as Chihiro silently acknowledges to himself, but that might be because you need to forget. The closeness and familiarity are disconcerting to him, and he struggles to comprehend how the past has seemingly shifted. He muses over the feeling that his past must not have been as romantic as he recalls, so obstinately holding on to the past may not have the same appeal now. Chihiro attempts to voice his confusion, prompting Tuka to chip in softly, "Stuck here in your chest, huh? Just remember a little bit at a time." Her words flow like a soothing balm, easing the internal conflict weighing on Chihiro. Despite a tumultuous internal landscape, Chihiro manages a feeble request for peace, whispering, "Please leave." He is met with Tuka's innocent smile as she agrees to his request, offering a simple, "I'll come again. Good night." After she leaves, Chihiro seeks solace in the routines of night, a cigarette, a quiet splash of cold water. He recalls this particular room's atmosphere which resonates with these intimate, contemplative moments. While a sense of reprieve blankets the room, the weight of the encounter with Tuka lingers with Chihiro. The night cloaks him in a deep sense of reflection, and he spots a title on a nearby magazine that piques his interest, "The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Substitute." Diving into its tale, Chihiro is mesmerized by the story of a man ensnared by the technology of memories, the manufactured memories affecting his life profoundly. The man, longing to forget his grief, had the nanobots erase his wife from his memory. However, what followed was a grotesque revelation, and newly implanted memories of a mystery woman filled his blank slate. This poignant story mirrors Chihiro's own ambiguity and longing for clarity. The gravity of the article settles over him. It accentuates the potential power and peril associated with altering memories. Chihiro senses the echoes of his choices, especially regarding Tuka, amid the narrative of this other man's experience. Recalling fond moments with music shared with Tuka, Chihiro reflects on how they bonded over this art form as children. In those tender times, music was a tapestry weaving their shared experiences together. The two of them used to huddle, listening to records, letting melodies be a quiet conduit for their budding emotions and connection. Tuka's voice resonates with vividness in Chihiro's mind as she reminisces about her childhood love for music, making these memories all the more poignant and bittersweet. As Chihiro revels in these recollections, the hum of unspoken feelings lingers between them. Tuka's words, "Even if you think I'm annoying, don't you dare leave me behind," echo her reliance on Chihiro, capturing an unspoken bond they both understood. That's why you should be careful too, Chihiro. The narrative threads of their shared past keep pulling Chihiro towards her, forcing him into a tangled dance of nostalgia and present uncertainty. The emotional intricacies only deepen when he ventures online, trying to connect with a classmate from his past. This digital exploration unveils fragments of lives once parallel to his own, continuing onwards without his participation. Among these faces and names, Chihiro stumbles upon Nozomi Kiramoto, a tether to his adolescence, reminding him of warmer, less complicated times. Though the years between have been numerous, Chihiro can still appreciate the faint echoes of Nozomi's presence, interwoven with sunlit summers and schoolyard laughter. Yet despite the journey back through memory's trails, Chihiro's quest for certainty leaves him still searching, his curiosity about this past self drawing clearer connections between experience and memory. Although haunted by the prospect of lost memories, he seeks solace in actively piecing together his identity, one moment, and one memory at a time. In a library filled with dusty books and a unique charm, Nozomi Kiramoto stands out as someone who embodies both mystery and intellect. She's not a typical library dropout, but she spends endless hours devouring books, absorbed in their worlds. Her scholarly nature garners admiration, and it's clear she views the library as a sanctuary from the outside world. Despite her typical demeanor, marked by self-contentment and focus, Nozomi occasionally shows a deep-seated frustration, resulting in sharp exchanges with others. Her swift retorts to others' buffoonery often precede a return to her silent reading. Nozomi's language skills surpass those of many native speakers, a testament to her intelligence and discipline. One evening, after another vivid nightmare, the protagonist finds solace in a drink, a coping mechanism for the fears that haunt him. The clarity provided by gin becomes his anchor, a secret escape from the horrors of his dreams. Conflicted memories of Nozomi linger in his thoughts, raising questions about their past connection. Was she a fellow student, a familiar face, or could she even be mistaken for someone else entirely? Determined to unravel the mystery, the protagonist sends a cautious message to Nozomi, keeping the content vague yet deliberate. The response comes unexpectedly soon, indicating interest and a hint of recognition on her part. The subsequent rendezvous is set, although the implications remain clouded in uncertainty. As they meet by a train station, the familiar figure of Nozomi approaches, her sight greeting him with a nod. Her gaze, hidden behind thick lenses, betrays an acute awareness, capturing every detail of her surroundings. The meeting unexpectedly triggers a mix of emotions in the protagonist, who is both anxious and intrigued. Choosing a cafe as their meeting spot, Nozomi remains reticent, not volunteering explanations as one might expect. The protagonist senses an ulterior motive beyond casual camaraderie. As questions hang between them, he reflects on Nozomi's preference for clarity amidst unspoken suspicions. After ordering coffee, Nozomi shares a part of her past that resonates with the protagonist. She admits, "After I entered high school, I made a friend." This friendship, initially perceived as genuine, led to a disturbing series of events as she found herself entangled with a fringe religious group, manipulated by the guise of camaraderie. While recounting this experience, Nozomi's eyes betray sadness, yet she quickly regains composure. Her willingness to share these personal insights hints at a deeper connection with the protagonist, or the aftermath of a shared experience. But despite these revelations, Nozomi subtly shifts the conversation, probing the protagonist's motives for contacting her. Her inquiry is met with honesty, an admission that resonates with both parties. Surprisingly, Nozomi concedes that meeting the protagonist stemmed from genuine interest, differentiating him from others with whom she had less desire to connect. The casual yet pointed discussion leads them back to their school days, where memory gaps prompt deeper inspection. Nozomi expresses amusement at her inability to forget faces, yet struggles to recall names, an intriguing factor that links their pasts more closely than initially perceived. Their conversation meanders as they discuss a mysterious classmate, Tuka Natsunagi, whose existence becomes questionable. The yearbook proves pivotal, revealing clear photographs but no record of such a student. The absence of Tuka's name stokes curiosity, the nameless picture hints at a conundrum involving identity and merged realities. Realization unfolds as Nozomi and the protagonist dig through blurry memories, grappling with faces and assumptions from their past. Their shared confusion is poignant, a portal to a time long forgotten, yet persistently present in each vivid recounting. As they part ways, wordless acknowledgement of the intertwined tale they share solidifies their bond. The rain, a steady rhythmic patter, mirrors the unresolved queries that remain suspended in their interaction. Emerging from the meeting, soaked in thought and raindrops, the protagonist feels anew the weight of memories. He closes his umbrella, letting the rain wash over him, much like the emotions and questions which now fill his mind. This brief encounter leaves Nozomi and the protagonist tethered by a link they are only beginning to comprehend, a connection deepened by the mysteries awaiting to unfold in the layers of their shared history. If life were simple and pleasant, the events that unfold would be heartwarming. But reality has unsettling layers. An article has surfaced questioning the final post made by the elder Kaino, casting her as someone who might have taken her own life due to despair. The revelation hits the younger Kaino fiercely, being associated with a supposed tragedy weighs heavily on her. Rumors spread rapidly, painting her past actions in a shade she never intended, an unjust mark on her story. Amidst this turmoil, existence continues under a perpetual umbrella of grey skies. The rain falls for multiple days, and Kaino muses that the weather seems to mirror her emotional state, clouded and dull. It's a summerscape shaped more by odd coincidence than genuine summer brightness. While she deals with her mundane troubles, like missing umbrellas and stolen laundry, she finds herself lost in the routine, a pattern so familiar that days blend into one another. Returning to her rituals, Kaino pushes forward through her seemingly static life. The repetition numbs her, as dividing lines between night and day blur. Here, the duality of rain plays out, both physically cleansing yet emotionally muddying. She spends her days reading, smoking, and letting time slip by almost unnoticed, until an unsettling memory floods back. Tuka Natsunagi's existence, or lack thereof, remains an unsolved riddle, a line between reality and fiction she's not sure how to cross. With a deep breath, Kaino navigates through these recollections, balancing them against the all-consuming familiarity of her waking world, a cycle from reading to drinking, smoking, and trying to recall who she was before these stagnant days. She recognizes the stirrings of the past that call her attention, a typhoon's rising winds echoing the storm within her own heart. The tempest intensifies, and Kaino, in a moment of introspection, finds herself yearning for something she's not quite ready to name. Her mundane tasks, stocking groceries and searching for lost items, don't offer the answers she's seeking. The quiet of the storm mirrors her isolation, yet she is comforted by the persistent noise just outside her window. The stranger days come on a nostalgic summer, shrouded in memories of a childhood ghost story she encounters first on television. A tale of a child's apparition caught her attention, an ethereal presence she feels a connection to. Curiosity pulls her deeper, while the familiarity of local myths clouds her skepticism. Hauntingly, Kaino finds herself reliving the summer of her youth, where a ghost she once spotted became a frequent presence. At first, simply a figment reserved for the corner of her vision, the ghost, however, makes her uneasy. Ephemeral yet tangible, it watches from afar, its silent presence creating an unsettling tension between comfort and fear. As the summer days run their course, she grapples with the notion of this ghost being an evil spirit, a concept that sends chills down her spine. The girl's face, enigmatic and bright, haunts Kaino in her waking hours and her dreams, blurring the line between them. On the closing day of the summer program, Kaino musters the courage to say goodbye, no more a prisoner of the past or the window where the spirit's eyes draw her in. She can finally embrace freedom, having the strength now to face the ghost with an unwavering heart. But as the haunted house looms closer, an unexpected innocence spills out as the ghost turns out to be nothing more than a little girl, standing so real in the twilight. The sight of her renders the mysterious Sother a mere child, an ordinary human being. Kaino, confronting this revelation, shares an exchange with the girl, who confirms her name is Tuka Natsunagi, the name laced with past intrigue. Bonds are formed on a bicycle ride that shifts everything. The certainty the girl brings with her presence alters Kaino's perception. Misunderstandings and layers of past fears are peeled back, only to reveal simplicity and connection in their shared humanity. Their tender interaction is gentle yet transformative, like finding light in constant darkness. While nostalgia lingers, Kaino acknowledges this mutual recognition as a pivotal turning point in both their lives. Their shared secret softens the weight of history, a restful pause in the turbulent journey. It's a testament to human kindness cutting through shadows, a true resolution amidst the lingering rain. As Kaino places those ghosts to rest, she embraces a newfound clarity. Her story, no longer bound by uncertainty, moves forward as she tucks away old fears and embarks on a path illuminated by the present's promise and continuity, an accord as natural as the rain's ceaseless rhythm. In the aftermath of a turbulent emotional storm, Chihiro finds himself grappling with a whirlwind of emotions: joy, anger, affection, emptiness, guilt, and loss. These feelings storm his mind and threaten to tear him apart as he processes the aftermath of his actions. The naked sadness inside him contrasts the relief of having offered apologies essential for his peace of mind. Chihiro awakens abruptly, hearing a strange sound. He debates whether it's a result of his dream or reality. Eventually, he realizes it's the sound of wind whistling through a gap in the window. Going to investigate, he notices the wind mingled curiously with what he believes is another person's breathing, awakening a deep, dawning sense of déjà vu about Tuka Natsunagi. Chihiro becomes vividly aware that the woman he recalls with asthma is not the Tuka he knows but someone entirely non-existent, an imaginary construct that he, perhaps subconsciously, manufactured. This revelation propels him into confusion and urgency as he rushes to confirm his suspicions, revealing the oddities in his memory. Compelled by a need to understand, Chihiro rushes down hallways, knocking intensely on doors, demanding answers from the Tuka who evades him through some uncanny means. In a fit of incredulous desperation, he shouts her name, trying to bridge the gap between reality and illusion. Amid the whirlwind, realizations flood Chihiro. Tuka has manipulated his series of memories, orchestrating an elaborate facade meant to provide comfort or reveal something deeper. When he finally confronts her again, Tuka nonchalantly confesses to her deceptions. Her spontaneous laughter lights the moment with unexpected ease. She seeks acknowledgement of her true existence and shares with Chihiro her motives, a concoction of need, necessity, and affection. Together, they settle into an atmosphere that mingles tension and humor until Chihiro muses over the peculiar allure of her not being who she seemed. Their conversation shifts, grounding itself in a newfound honesty. Reflecting on promises and memories, Chihiro feels a moment of disjunction. Tuka's words echo a deeper truth, deceiving not out of malice but self-preservation and connection. As they begin another chapter, they navigate ordinary moments, embarking on a daily routine built on shared meals and small gestures of normality. Their simple exchanges, well outside Chihiro's original concept of what companionship should entail, grow in meaning, providing both a foundation and an unspoken agreement. If they can persevere through the simplicity, perhaps more profound realizations will follow. Amid this developing companionship, Chihiro reflects on his recurring nightmares, dreams posing questions he feels unprepared to answer. In these dreams, he relives a sense of profound loss, losing sight of someone he cherishes. This has him questioning his actions and regrets, recalling voices and assurances offered by the specter of someone trying to reach him. Plagued by these haunting visions, his mind wanders back to familiar allegories and stories, seeking answers, grappling with illusions and truths that mirror the paradoxes within his heart. These musings are challenged as Tuka's presence punctuates reality, disrupting his contemplations with vivid spontaneity and revealing truths masked under sheepish charades. Tuka candidly compares herself to timeless tales, employing stories like the north wind and the sun to explain her strategies. She paints a picture with contrived ease about how her charade has been less about seizing control and more a reflection of collaborative learning. Her admission resonates deeply, blurring the lines between manipulation and intention, weaving a tapestry of vulnerability and strength. Chihiro realizes these revelations settle uneasily within him, likening Tuka's presence and actions to spaces in his memory where her image lingers. His introspection gives rise to a careful dance between acceptance and curiosity as he wonders about the nature of his own desires. Through their interactions, a delicate balance is struck. Rules are forged and agreed upon, a testament not merely to an evolving relationship but a mutual understanding that unfolds within the safe bounds of constructed freedoms. Together, they sketch the outline of a shared world, ticking through summer days with simple routines and fleeting moments of unspoken tenderness, navigating the peculiar world they've built. Chihiro starts his day with the simplicity of breakfast prepared by Tuka. Despite their simplicity, her meals always have a comforting quality. Chihiro acknowledges that he might be eating too much, jesting about the weight gain with, "Maybe the daily exercise will take care of it." This ritual becomes an unspoken bond between them, as does the predictability of their shared routine. By noon, they share another meal. Tuka's dedication to nourishing Chihiro is evident, not just in food but in companionship. As they eat, she remarks, "I want to fatten you up so I can eat you, Chihiro," which makes him chuckle inwardly at the silliness of the comment. After lunch, Chihiro leaves for work, taking solace in the idea that Tuka's presence lingers even in her absence. At 1 p.m., Chihiro returns home, exhausted from an afternoon of work. Tuka awaits him, and he treasures these moments, simple yet filled with meaning. They often take rides on Chihiro's bicycle, with Tuka perched on the back. Although this simple activity is meant to be a regular exercise, Chihiro finds himself challenged, both physically and emotionally, by the closeness and intimacy of these shared moments. Their evening unfolds with a visit to the marketplace. Ensconced within mundane activity, Chihiro muses about how they're perceived. Tuka playfully suggests their outings as like newlyweds, creating a facade of naivete that keeps them both laughing. Shifting through groceries, Chihiro is enveloped in the warmth of these domestic experiences. By 7:30 p.m., they sit down to dinner. Tuka has prepared another elaborate meal, and as they eat, Chihiro relishes the sake poured alongside. These dinners, intimate and wholesome, are a highlight of his day, filling the silent moments with a quiet joy shared between two souls. Night falls, and by 9 p.m., Chihiro reflects on their evolving relationship through the simplistic charm of Tuka's stamp card, a whimsical diary cataloguing the innocuous and endearing details of their days. These entries, from "Chihiro got embarrassed" to "Tuka entrapped me," fill their lives with humor and a sense of playful competition. In early September, as the air begins to change, they plan for an outing despite forecasts predicting rain. Tuka dresses beautifully in a yukata, her attire showered with memories of past summers. Despite the threat of rain, they venture into the city, buying snacks and capturing moments with a disposable camera, a souvenir encapsulating the weight of their shared shard of time. Suddenly, amidst the casual playfulness, Tuka asks, "Hey, you want to kiss?" Chihiro, momentarily thrown off balance, feels the undertow of nostalgia and present collide. In a quieter moment, Chihiro senses the warmth in Tuka's eyes, realizing how closely intertwined their lives have become, the years folding over themselves like petals. As the rain clouds roll in sooner than expected, they find shelter under a small overhang, the rain saturating the world around them. Leaning into Chihiro, Tuka drops the weightless threat of her impending disappearance, turning the daydream into a solemn reality. "When this summer ends, I'll vanish from your sight," she confides, casting the future into shadow. By late evening, in the stalemate of the rain, Tuka's voice pierces the cold, playful yet sincere. "If you wanted it, truly, I could give you anything you want." Chihiro feels the sting of her words, a promise or a lie, it seems irrelevant, it's her voice that matters in the darkness, wrapping them in a cocoon of momentary happiness and impending loss. As the storm abates, the earth soaked and glistening under the dim glow of streetlights, Chihiro clings to the happiness of their shared present, knowing that reality looms just beyond the horizon. When he wakes in the morning, Tuka's absence is palpable, the room feels hollow and echoing without her presence. Reflecting before the chapter closes, Chihiro revisits their shared conversations, the promise of a future, and the inevitable end looming over them. Tuka's words linger, a memory burned into the edges of his heart, whispering of times past and future promises, of being led into light from darkness. Even now, Chihiro, you're my hero, her voice endures, guiding him into the approaching autumn, each leaf that falls a memory of their short summer, the time shared now a cherished treasure. As he sits enveloped in reflection, he knows the truth and weight of his own heart, whispering the promise. Emori begins to share a pivotal story with Amagai, someone he finally feels he can open up to. He shows Amagai an old school notebook, which contains a significant memory from his middle school days. Turning it over, Emori reflects on the images within, describing his past self harshly as ugly. He recalls being taunted and bullied at school. This pivotal moment marked the beginning of his journey to change himself. One significant encounter Emori recalls is seeing a couple during his graduation, both wearing uniforms similar to his. Emori immediately noticed that one of the individuals was a former classmate. Secretly attracted to the woman, he felt a pang of disappointment, wishing he could be part of their world. Emori recounts how that day, he went home and resolved to start over from scratch, determined to transform his life. This began a series of significant changes. By the time Emori reached high school, he was already quite different. With a more crafted appearance, he sought revenge on those who had judged him by associating with many young women, thinking it might help heal his childhood wounds. In his 4th year after leaving school, Emori encounters something life-changing, the green phenomenon. He explains how this treatment provides memories of a beautiful childhood, something he desperately desired. Despite several attempts to get the treatment, challenges remained, such as the skepticism from those who did not believe in its effectiveness. Fascinated by the idea and the potential it carried, Emori turns his attention to memory engineers, people able to create and manipulate memories. One name stood out, Tuka Natsunagi. Intrigued, Emori dives into her world, realizing her unique approach captured what he sought. Emori's curiosity leads him to research more about Tuka, uncovering her background and the revolutionary methods she utilized in her work. Her approach, called prayer, set her apart from others in the field. She intended to create powerful, life-altering memories, a contrast to Emori's initial understanding of memory engineering. Emori reflects on how Tuka's memories, her crafted experiences, stir something within him. The possibility that he could be one of her test subjects frightens and fascinates him. Emori becomes enthralled by her resolve to craft memories so powerful they could bring chaos to one's life. One unresolved mystery for Emori is the photograph he found, where Tuka appears younger than her age. He wonders if the stress of her work made her look older, or if the memories were crafted to deceive him. Haunted by thoughts of his father and his own past, Emori decides to drink and think extensively, albeit knowing it won't solve his problems. He is caught in a loop, constantly recalling the last conversation he had with Tuka, which left an indelible mark on him. Finally, awakening to a new day, Emori finds himself feeling sluggish and unwell. As his vision clears, he sees a girl, appearing as though she had wandered from a distant place. Emori tentatively approaches her, speaking her name, Tuka. Yet, she doesn't recognize him, leaving Emori puzzled and adding to the enigma surrounding them. Reflecting on his imaginary childhood friend, Emori acknowledges how this friend was never real. He had clung onto the illusion of their existence, someone who seemed to know and understand him. This childhood fantasy had been a comforting presence, helping Emori feel less alone even when the world turned against him. Haunted by these thoughts, Emori recalls his parents and their restrictive beliefs. They dismissed technology and conventional medicine, issues that led to health complications for Emori over time. He suffered from chronic respiratory issues, further isolating him. In his younger years, the nights were long and challenging. Emori remembers the relentless coughing and the suffocation it caused, coupled with his parents' mistrust of medical help. His only solace was the illusionary presence of the friend who, ironically, did not exist outside his imagination, an anchor in his overwhelming world. Emori's struggles were not just with health but with his sense of belonging, forcing him to navigate a turbulent path to self-discovery and acceptance. This journey, while fraught with challenges, puts him on a course to uncover deeper truths about himself and the extraordinary individuals who shape his life. Isolation becomes a double-edged sword for the protagonist, who recalls crawling to the bedroom, unable to rely on anyone for help due to their condition. Any mention of an asthma attack would result in people leaving, believing it to be trivial. The protagonist's parents, upon learning about a hospital visit, are more concerned about the shame it brings to the family than the child's health. This fuels a deep sense of loneliness. Breathing steadies after an attack, and moonlight becomes a rare comfort. Thoughts drift to him, an imagined companion who offers the emotional support that is deeply craved. This imaginary friend becomes a source of solace as the protagonist struggles to express vulnerability. As the protagonist grows, the asthma becomes less severe, morphing into a psychosomatic illness. A fear of causing trouble chains the protagonist to their condition, as the looming dread of triggering an attack becomes its own stimuli. Childhood is marred by taunting and isolation. Walking with a visible limp to ease breathing only draws mockery from classmates, a painful reminder of ever-present ailments. The protagonist wields retorts like a shield, even when confrontation results in losing their inhaler, a moment that cements deep physical and emotional scars. An illness-related school absence leads to deeper isolation, yet the protagonist finds some comfort in habitual solitude. Neighboring windows and familiar sights give a sense of static continuity, a reprieve from the alienation of school life. The desire for genuine companionship persists. An aspiration for a friend akin to the imaginary him lingers. The protagonist dreams of being saved, hugged, and experiencing a life enriched by connection, with lingering fantasies of what life could be like. At age 16, fate turns when the protagonist's talent as a memory engineer is revealed. Crafting narratives based on clients' memories becomes a new reality, a profession that offers both challenge and promise. Memory engineering is more about engaging with someone's essence to create a tangible personal story, requiring insight into souls more than technical skill. This career offers unexpected opportunities for fulfillment and recognition, as clients affirm the protagonist's worth. The protagonist, now financially independent, enjoys the stability that memory work brings, seeing deposits in the bank account for the first time acknowledges societal value. Yet, real life reveals its harsh truths. An asthma diagnosis is medically verified, but emotional strains and a new disease at 19 pose fresh trials. New Alzheimer's challenges memory in unfamiliar ways, erasing them systematically from the newest to oldest. Though the illness hasn't been experienced personally by the protagonist, the concept becomes hauntingly relatable. The protagonist savors the present moments, wary of a world where memories could vanish in a blink. The support and validation garnered through work offer some respite, a foundation to navigate the chaos of possible memory loss. Despite the medical burdens faced, the spirit finds resilience, a persistent flicker of hope as the protagonist continues to write their own story. In a poignant moment of reflection, the protagonist grapples with the revelation of their illness, new Alzheimer's, a condition that silently chips away at one's memory and identity. They express a profound thought, suggesting it's like a disease that slowly slices away your limbs without anesthesia. This realization comes by sheer coincidence as the protagonist seeks medical advice for numbness in their dominant hand, leading to a diagnosis confirmed by a brain CT scan. The onset of new Alzheimer's was unexpected, shaking the protagonist's world. Yet, with remarkable resilience, they accept the diagnosis calmly. Describing the impact, they illustrate the gradual dissolution of their past, the suffering of losing memories lingering as a deep-seated fear. Despite the disease's insidious nature, the protagonist resolves to forget and move forward, a choice driven by a desire to alleviate anxiety and cold solace that others easily accepted their new reality. Spending days marinating in contemplation, the protagonist is haunted by nagging thoughts about their future and the relentless march of forgetting. They reflect on how memories shape identity and bring reassurance, yet fear begins to gnaw as they speculate about losing more than just past recollections, essential parts like the ability to enjoy mundane pleasures. Acknowledging loneliness strikes a poignant chord for the protagonist. Up until learning about the disease, they hadn't recognized this solitude in their life. Now, the absence of deep and meaningful connections is starkly apparent. The memories they cherish become disconnected episodes devoid of underlying significance or allegory, a realization that fuels a deeper sense of isolation. In a quest to connect with others, the protagonist joins a gathering of memory engineers and their shared experience offers a semblance of comfort. Listening to others' stories, from younger strangers and older acquaintances alike, gives a glimpse into unique lives touched by new Alzheimer's. A man recounts his initial struggles and humorous acceptance of forgetting his wife's face, while another seeks solace in a routine, repeatedly telling the same story. Hearing other stories amplifies the protagonist's internal conflict. Each shares a theme of love, family, and cherished memories, threads woven into their identities. This causes the protagonist to question the essence of their own experiences and what tales linger within their fading mind. Inspired, they resolve to craft their narrative, extracting essence from a life no longer wholly theirs, blending truth with fiction to retain semblance of reality. When it is their turn to share, the protagonist nervously begins, conjuring a fictional tale they built since childhood. I had a childhood friend, they start, preceding an emotional journey that stirs the listeners. Tears of empathy and appreciation mingle with quiet understanding as others relate, grateful for the shared experience of intangible connection and the mysterious, comforting appearance of someone they know but cannot name. With a newfound recognition of their capacity to create connections despite deteriorating memories, the protagonist is encouraged to continue weaving stories. Yet, they are left with the realization of facing the disease alone, pondering how their parents or colleagues might react to the spread of new Alzheimer's within their once detail-oriented mind. Ironically, despite losing precise memory, they emphasize the increased imaginative capacity granted by the illness. As days turn into a reflective summer, the protagonist clings to every moment that still brings solace. Music, cooking, reading, and small rituals ground them, providing comfort and relief from the impending void. Grieving the absence of opportunities, like raising a pet or fostering deeper connections, creeps into their thoughts, an unyielded wish for a routine interrupted by endless pauses. However, when a spoon slips from their grasp and crashes to the floor, the impact stiffens into panic, an awareness of time running out. This moment signifies the threshold of emptiness that breaks them. In this fragile state, vivid memories flash before their eyes, age-stamped scenes of youth and dreams. Yet, the protagonist realizes life remained unfilled, propelled by distant aspirations never actualized. A chilling honesty emerges, as the need to face fears of dying alone with no lasting connection looms large. With no friends to lean on, and doubts haunting every thought, this understanding propels a keen sense to grasp life with urgency. The protagonist's struggle exemplifies the fragile interplay between memory and identity, a quiet battle to find meaning amidst an inevitable tide of forgetting. The stillness of loneliness, a feeling cultivated over years, surrounds Tuka. I spent the next few days crying, she recalls, but resisting thoughts of him, the person woven into her memories, proves impossible. Immersing herself in study seemed a reliable escape during high school, but as she succumbs to the grip of her illness, her emotional defenses dissolve. The idea of him becomes a constant, lurking presence. Tuka's memories, though possibly ungrounded in reality, refuse to fade. She wonders, can people love someone they've never even met wholeheartedly? She questions whether her feelings for this imagined figure are misplaced, yet can't help clinging to them. Returning home after a year and a half, with the cherished middle school yearbook in her luggage, Tuka embarks on a journey back to her roots, seeking him. She is engulfed by nostalgia for a home that no longer seems familiar. The place of her upbringing offers no comfort. The familiar appears foreign, the lush greenery and sky unfamiliar to her senses. Despite this, visions of her past persist. Scenes unfold in her mind, the schoolboy pedaling his bike past her, girls in yukatas at summer festivals, her middle school self in lockstep behind him. These shadows from her past stir vivid emotions. A sense of alienation intensifies as Tuka walks through the town. This place, once her world, now feels distorted, as if glimpsed through a clouded lens. Despite the lack of recognizable faces or buildings, her feet find the path home. Driven by restless energy, she strolls to the local festival. The allure of shared memories draws her in, even as the crowd swallows her. Bobbing lanterns light her path through the festivities. Amid the vibrant chaos, regret and longing entwine. The festival echoes with laughter and joy, yet Tuka feels detached, almost as if observing through glass. Her fantasy is on the cusp of reality, ephemeral like a soap bubble that might burst at any moment. With the festival winding down, Tuka seeks solace away from the crowd. She finds herself at a restaurant counter, nursing sake, barely any taste left on my tongue. Reflecting on past encounters, she recalls being remembered briefly and awkwardly by an ex-classmate, a stark reminder of her faded presence. A chance meeting with her classmate brings momentary respite, yet underscores the passage of time. The classmate, now a successful woman, briefly mistakes Tuka for someone vibrant and full of potential. Their conversation flits between nostalgia and present-day realities, leaving Tuka grappling with her own stagnancy. Determined to change, Tuka confronts her reflection. Her appearance, long neglected, becomes her focus. She indulges in small transformations, exploring new ways to present herself to the world. This process is less about vanity, more a symbolic quest for the part of her that might still spark with life. Through tentative steps, a fresh wardrobe, and practiced smiles, Tuka seeks to meet him without fear or doubt overshadowing her heart. She holds on to this hope, even as reality keeps him at bay, fueling her resolve. The story concludes with Tuka sipping beer, reminiscing the indelible memories yet feeling a measure of peace. Though the extraordinary secrets of the heart remain confined to the fantasy novel she holds dear, they continue shaping her world, giving clarity to the person she chooses to become. As the day at the office winds down, the protagonist is approached by a coworker who invites them for drinks. This casual invitation is brushed aside, as the protagonist feels an unexplainable pull to decline, even as they acknowledge their own unhappiness. This moment highlights their growing disconnect from their current life. Once alone, contemplating their reality, the protagonist finds themselves mired in a familiar sense of emptiness, exacerbated by the weight of unsolicited advice to take care of yourself. It's a sentiment that's easy to dole out but hard to actualize when life feels stagnant and void of meaningful signs of improvement. In this solitude, a call to action resonates. A client requests an in-person meeting. While not out of the ordinary, there's an undercurrent of intrigue since the client doesn't find the compiled memory sufficient and seeks further assessment. Peeking into the complexities of this world, the protagonist acknowledges the divergence between artificial records and genuine human experience, amplifying the philosophical musings on what memory should encapsulate. The client's insistence on a face-to-face evokes curiosity and hesitation in equal parts, driven by letters that resonate deeply, as if they were well-crafted literature. Despite the usual anonymity of the profession, this encounter promises to delve into personalized depths, prompting a decision to meet the client. Venturing to an old, humble hotel, the client is revealed as a 70-year-old woman with a sharp mind and heartfelt intent. As the protagonist arrives, they are struck by a faint lingering fragrance that paints a picture of nostalgia. The woman explains her intent clearly: one letter for her, one for her husband, symbolizing a life intertwined yet ultimately unactualized. Conversations trace back through the decades, as they reminisce about an encounter that could have happened much earlier, yet was impossible. The woman carries a wish for their memories to reflect the possibilities of a life as it should have been, a poignant reflection that deeply stirs the protagonist. Faced with an ethical conundrum, a request emerges: if you can pretend you never heard this, a plea to honor a dream left unfulfilled in reality, delicately yet firmly proposed, leaving the protagonist to weigh the morality and the artistry involved in crafting such a memory. Compelled by the unique significance of the task, the protagonist accepts, driven by a blend of empathy and professional pride. The creation of new memories begins to take shape, a challenge unlike any before, a true test of the depth of innovation and the understanding of human desire. What unfolds is the construction of a narrative, a once-in-a-lifetime synergy of profound hopes and dreams captured in meticulous detail. The protagonist becomes immersed in the creation, navigating the pressures and exhilarations of playing fate's hand. Memories now complete, they reflect on the creation with a mix of reverence and astonishment, noting it as their greatest work of art. However, the emotional toll of the journey grips them, forcing an intense acknowledgement of personal sacrifice and creative impact. An unexpected twist comes with the discovery of a young man's profile, bearing uncanny resemblance to themselves in disposition and struggle. This synchronicity, startling in its accuracy, nudges the protagonist to explore further connections, where personal history intertwines with professional obligation. This narrative arc leads to conceiving Boy Meets Girl, a heartfelt fabrication spun from genuine fragments of the past. The memories crafted are vulnerable and imperfect, yet resonant with emotional truth, serving as a quiet rebellion against the specter of new Alzheimer, the condition that threatens to erase the very essence of identity. In a deliberate effort to intertwine personal legacy with professional duty, the protagonist devises a plan, embedding fragments of personal truth into the fabricated memories. Tapping into intense longing and nostalgia, they strive to impart an indelible mark that endures beyond the erasure of disease. This mission becomes an exploration of self, an attempt to anchor memory and identity amidst looming forgetfulness. The protagonist's resolve crystallizes into a decisive aim to ensure their presence in the substrate world of memories lives on, forging a personal connection with Chihiro Amagai, a narrative that transcends whispers of the past into a declaration of existence. Yet, as the months pass and the protagonist executes this plan, challenges emerge, highlighting the tension between constructing personal narratives and professional responsibilities. Still, they remain undeterred, channeling the weight of unlived dreams into a fictional yet poignant reality. Finally, as traditions collide with ambition, the narrative crescendos with an unexpected festival, a fleeting yet poignant reminder of time's cyclical nature, opening new paths amid echoes of the past, a testament to the enduring importance of memory and identity in the face of inevitable change. The streets are alive with vibrant celebrations. A bustling festival unfolds, filled with color and energy, but one person stands at the center of Tuka Natsunagi's world, Chihiro Amagai. Despite the joyous climate, Tuka wrestles with an intense mixture of anticipation and doubt. The shrine looms ahead, a destination marked with memories of missed connections and budding endearments. A place that once offered hope, now seems weighted with expectations unmet. Chihiro's aversion to fiction poses a unique challenge to Tuka, who, as Tuka Natsunagi, crafted a life steeped in illusion. It's a trait ingrained in Chihiro from a troubled family upbringing, leaving him with a deep-seated hatred for anything he perceives as false or contrived. His disdain is so overwhelming that if he even suspects inauthenticity, he rejects it outright. For Tuka, this means navigating the delicate tightrope of truth and fiction, questioning if the lengths gone to meet Chihiro were ever justified. Driven by the fear of losing the fragile bond they've constructed, Tuka reflects on pretense and genuine affection. Perhaps the path chosen was flawed from the start. Genuine connection seemed distant, yet nostalgia and the promise of closeness propel Tuka forward, clinging to the childhood friendship shared before misunderstandings and distance drew them apart. A dinner preparation turned sour, serving as a metaphor for the brewing storm within. Chihiro's harsh rejection of the dish encapsulates his weariness and dismissal of Tuka's efforts. Despite the setback, a determination ignites within Tuka, setting the stage for a more profound confrontation with emotions long hidden beneath pretense. As a powerful typhoon approaches, nature mirrors the turmoil inside Tuka. The gale sweeps through, dismantling the ordinary scenery, replacing it with chaotic disorder and introspection. In this charged atmosphere, Tuka faces a critical decision, whether to once again confront what has been avoided for too long. Summoned by an inexplicable impulse, Tuka leaves the sanctuary of the room, embarking on a journey that feels both physical and metaphorical. The weather, ominous and unrelenting, reflects the emotional tempest Tuka is wrestling with. Each step in the rain-soaked environment feels like an echo of their struggles within. Despite the storm, a resolute determination guides each move forward. Arriving at a precarious ledge, the scene embodies a moment of reckoning, where contemplation of life shimmers at the edge of decision. It's in this moment, with the rain pouring and the sky cloaked in grey, that Tuka realizes the value of every fleeting moment, even if those moments feel small and ephemeral compared to the weight of the world. In a startling twist, a call pierces the desolation, Chihiro's voice, familiar and urgent. Disbelief, then hope, flood Tuka's senses. Chihiro's presence, improbable yet spirited into reality by necessity, defies previous assumptions. His words convey urgency and clarity, crystallizing emotions that had long lain dormant or misinterpreted. Faced with the unexpected warmth of Chihiro's concern, Tuka discerns a shift in the atmosphere, a realization that vulnerability isn't a mark of weakness but an interlude to authenticity. The bond between them, once fragile and riddled with misunderstanding, begins to thread together in shared truths and refreshed perspectives. As the storm subsides, Tuka's heart swells with newfound resolve. Freed from the confinement of imposture, a decision crystallizes to continue striving for Chihiro, seeking a future where sincerity can flourish. The simple act of being addressed by first name resonates deeply, a beacon of progress in their shared journey. The revelation of Tuka's story continues to unfold, revealing a letter from the past that sheds light on a former connection shrouded in mystery. The letter, confessional and raw, charts the path that led them here, entwining their fates more deeply than mere coincidence. Regret lingers as Tuka reflects on decisions made. The reliance on memories, artificial constructs meant to replace lost fragments, feels like a betrayal of genuine experiences. Yet, through this confluence of technology and emotion, a new understanding emerges, one that doesn't dismiss the past but rather seeks to integrate it wholly. With Chihiro by the door, a presence neither condemned nor redeemed but understood, the atmosphere brightens with a glimmer of hope. As Tuka steps forward, propelled by a resolve to embrace the story formed from shared memories and earnest truths, a promise ignites, a pact to nurture what's real and let the illusions fade away. Continuation? The journey unfolds as Tuka, struggling to grasp the meaning of these surreal relationships and memories, stands on the precipice of understanding her own desires. Chihiro remains patient and empathetic, respecting the depths of her confusion. The bond between them weaves a narrative unlike any other, one that is rooted in earnest companionship and the shared echoes of a forgotten past. As the days pass, they create a groove of ordinary happiness. Chihiro's presence becomes a steady anchor, helping Tuka to navigate through the mists of uncertainty that cloud her present. There's a bittersweet undercurrent to their interactions, as both of them are acutely aware of the limitations imposed by her condition. Yet, this doesn't deter Chihiro from immersing himself fully into being with her, demonstrating a commitment that shines through as a beacon of sincerity. In their precious moments alone, music serves as a bridge between their worlds. Tuka's initial skepticism dissipates as the melodies connect both her and Chihiro to something sublime beyond time and disease. It's within these notes that she finds an unexpected solace, a refuge she wasn't aware she craved until it unfolded right before her. Each song becomes a conduit for expression, bridging the gaps left by her faltering memory. "I want to remember more, Chihiro," Tuka admits softly one day, the vulnerability in her voice exposing the years of isolation she felt. In response, Chihiro reassures her not with promises, but with presence, understanding that true companionship doesn't have to contain guarantees, only an unwavering love. The emotional tide turns as Tuka grows increasingly introspective. She questions her fears and the reality constructed around her. Is it real? She often asks Chihiro, both genuinely curious and tentatively hopeful. She seeks validation not only of her memories but of her value as an individual beyond them. Through each conversation, Chihiro offers her gentle reminders that she is cherished not for who she was but for who she is now, a sentiment that she slowly begins to accept. Eventually, the day arrives when the warmth of the sun seems to penetrate every tremor of their story. Sitting under a canopy of soft, dappled light, Tuka and Chihiro find themselves confronting the moments they've shared, the laughter, the revelations, and the silences that spoke volumes. It is then that Tuka, with newfound clarity, contemplates aloud about the nature of miracles, about the unending cycle of beginnings and endings. "Maybe it doesn't matter if I remember everything," she says quietly, meeting Chihiro's gaze. "What matters is that I can feel and cherish this moment right now." In that instant, the world around them seems to align in perfect harmony, transcending everything tethering them to what is lost and what is to come. Chihiro nods, embracing this profound simplicity they've stumbled upon. Their days are now filled with simple joys, each new dawn wrapped in the quiet understanding that they've forged something unbreakable. Chihiro's dedication, unwavering and profound, becomes the lighthouse in Tuka's often turbulent sea. Meanwhile, Tuka's evolving sense of self ripples outward, breaking the barriers she once believed confined her. Together, they learn the intrinsic truth that while memories form the canvas of our past, it is the moments of living, of true connection, that ultimately shape the chronicles of our souls. The journey has not ended, but rather, it has begun anew, charting an undefined yet hopeful path forward. As they sit side by side, facing an uncertain yet inviting future, the ticking of time becomes but a distant echo, replaced by the harmonious rhythm of two hearts daring to dream beyond the confines of possibility. Tuka is on the brink of reaching true zero, signifying completion of her storytelling journey. Chihiro reflects on the rapid progression of Tuka's ability to weave memories, particularly those from his own life. In a moment of revelation, he recalls, "Hey, let me call you back." This marks a decision to revisit memories he shared with Tuka, from childhood through adolescence, and how those moments formed their connection. He recalls vivid scenes, biking around town, visiting her house to borrow books, and spending off hours together. Their relationship developed through shared experiences like watching movies, visiting the library, and attending summer festivals. Each memory reinforces the depth of their bond, from the warmth of Tuka's hand in his to the laughter they shared. Chihiro struggles to bridge gaps in their past, seeking completeness in memories. He contemplates the stories told and untold, binding them with imagination to fill the voids. Eventually, he reaches the poignant realization that memories, real or fabricated, shape their understanding of each other. Tuka's storytelling in their isolated world during these weeks becomes a lifeline, a way to tether themselves to something real as everything else fades. Chihiro acknowledges the weight of creating a story you continue to write for as long as you feel like it, and the solace it provides amid the inevitable finality. A sudden shift happens when Tuka returns a package of lethe to Chihiro. This substance promises to erase memories. He faces a critical choice, to embrace the artificial forgetting it offers or to hold on to everything that has been. Chihiro realizes the truth in Tuka's plan, understanding that the narrative she spun was a way to protect him. The final exchange between them encapsulates a deep, heartfelt connection. Despite the plan to erase memories, they acknowledge the complexity and value of what they shared. Chihiro's confidence in his discernment becomes evident. He smiles at Tuka's clever plan, saying, "What I drank was the lethe to erase the memories of my childhood." In a heartening twist, Chihiro reveals that he had swapped the packages all along, preserving his memories and understanding of Tuka. This revelation fosters a newfound honesty and deeper intimacy between them. As they converse about potential futures and dreams, Chihiro expresses contentment in being able to continue sharing moments with Tuka, despite the impending loss of her stories. Their dialogue is filled with warmth and humor. Chihiro reassures Tuka of his love and readiness to support her, regardless of the trials ahead. As they laugh together, their bond transcends the need for memories or narrative perfection, anchoring them in genuine affection. In the quiet aftermath of their kiss, Tuka's condition takes a sudden turn the next day. Her life, described with the richness of a short summer, comes to an ethereal end on a serene October morning. Her departure feels like the end of a season that will be remembered long after it has passed. Later, in August, amidst the bustling streets of Harajuku, Amagai finds himself coincidentally reunited with Emori. It's a surprising encounter during Emori's business trip. They slip into the comfort of an old friendship without the need for formalities, like we were friends who met up here every week. Their conversation meanders from topic to topic, eventually landing on memories. Emori reveals that he purchased heroin. This shift to discussing memories, a digital repository of feelings, brings Amagai's thoughts back to Tuka. Her death doesn't mark a vast change in the world in a tangible sense, yet it reshapes Amagai's reality profoundly. He reflects, it was guaranteed, acknowledging the surreal finality of her absence. A year later, fictional worlds no longer feel discardable to Amagai. Once people have something that is fundamentally equal, they can look at other things and the distance becomes apparent. He realizes the profound similarities between life's fleeting truths and the constructed realities of fiction. Amagai's personal narrative weaves around memories, a technology that captures emotions, preserving them like timeless echoes. Memories, lies of the kindest kind, become a tool for preserving moments of happiness and sorrow. They serve as a haunting reminder of Tuka, yet bring solace. In an interview, Amagai reflects on what it means to be a memory engineer. It's the job of creating the world's kindest lies. These memories are akin to delicate threads spun from the moments he shared with Tuka, a virus that connects people who experience them. As life unfolds, Amagai sees the hidden magic in everyday encounters. He dreams of a world where these chance meetings ignite an unspoken connection, a significant yet unrecognized bond shared between strangers. It might be something as mundane as passing someone on the street or catching a familiar smile, yet in these moments lies the potential for profound discovery. The memories he crafts are intended to spark these connections, to allow individuals to become heroes in each other's stories. The extraordinary lies in these simple yet profound moments, like a traveler at the train station with heavy bags or the waiter at a bar who serves you with a smile. The narrative draws to a close with Amagai reflecting on the deep impact Tuka left on his heart. He longs for her presence, imagining the scenarios where their paths might cross again, even in different forms or under different skies. The memories become his sanctuary, allowing him to keep her laughter, her spirit, and her essence alive. In his solitary moments, under the vast sky peppered with fireworks, he reflects on a summer dream. The memory of a girl across the way, vibrant and ethereal, lingers like a whisper in his mind. As the night deepens, he realizes, it was only for 3 months, but I had a childhood friend. In the gentle echo of fireworks, the warmth of remembered moments, and the soft closing of a beautiful chapter, Amagai embraces the peace of his memories. Tuka's essence, immortalized in these kind lies, lives on, a testament to a short life filled with profound meaning and endless love.